Yay!
Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. And we dressed samesies today.
We dressed samesies on accident.
That's right. We're both French mimes without our makeup on.
Oh, man.
This was totally on accident, by the way, for this cool down on August 30th, Monday at 12:05 p.m. Both Katie and I just happened to be wearing the same shirt, and she was going to go change, and I told her not to because I think it's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we need suspenders. Thank you, Brett.
We do need suspenders. Dang.
Mime is not money. Trust me. There's the only people that I know that have done mime in my life that were career mimes or whatever. They said it's the only thing that pays worse than being an actor is being
a career mime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. I also like that Siv and Lily at the point of their relationship where they're now starting to dress alike.
Yeah, that's not going to creep out James and Fahima and Ugo at all.
It honestly messes with my head looking at us in the same screen.
Good. I like that. Twins in, I see you. Thank you for subbing. And we got Angel of the Candle Queen 1271. I see you. T Jackson, Red Robin 1972. That gamer share. Hi, that gamer
Matching
share.
couple outfits for Siv and Lily. Fan art, please. My gosh. Oh no.
My mime is terrible. It's I couldn't mime anything. And I have friends that actually do mime, so yeah, I wouldn't want to embarrass myself.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah. And the rope.
That was good.
Okay, anyways, let's answer some questions, shall we? There's a lot of good questions. I didn't know there were so many good questions on Patreon, and I posted it on Discord as well. I've lost Katie. She's already gone into mime land.
I just think that was a pretty good rope. Okay.
That's good. It was good. Yeah. So let's dive right into the questions because there's a ton. And I'd like to get to as many as possible. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Yeah. How are you doing today, Katie? I forgot to ask.
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Yeah. Lovely. I went to a brunch yesterday.
You did?
That was with a couple friends. And
great.
I brought donuts because I didn't feel like making anything.
That's funny because I have leftover donuts today for coffee and donuts.
Really?
Yeah.
What a coinky dink.
Yeah, a friend brought some over yesterday. So.
Yeah. Were they good donuts or were they like
really good?
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I only buy the cheap donuts. So
I mean, I think those are some of the best donuts.
Yes.
I'll be honest.
Yes. All right, let's dive into these questions. So Dyson Capes. LOL, I had just noticed Ron and Jared have never been on the same episode, and now here it is. Well, guess what?
I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Ron apologizes for not being here. He had a last minute thing come up, unfortunately, but I'm Ron today.
Yes.
We've done last time we did a cool down episode together, we talked about beer for 90% of it. So we're going to do that. Yeah.
This is true. Although we still need to do the beer cool down.
We do.
For sure.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's on the list. Dr. Sparks, how do you both feel Lily's and Siv's worldview impact their responses to recent events? And do you feel either of their worldview is shifting at all? I'll let you jump on this first.
I kind of talked about this a little bit last week, but yeah, I mean, I think Lily is, she's kind of at a turning point. It feels like a little bit of, wow, we're in positions now. I guess this is what it is. We're in positions now more and more where there's no right or clear right answer. There's no like,
oh yeah, for sure.
This is the right thing.
I mean, Jeff sets it up that way.
Yeah. This is, well, I think at the beginning of our campaign, we had a little bit more of like, even if there was some gray area, our path was very clear of what we needed to get to next.
Sure.
Or now, or maybe I'm making that up, but it felt very clear at the beginning. And now it's feeling a little more like, okay, we are more in control of these decisions. And oftentimes we're between a rock and a hard place, like there's no right answer. And so I think that's a test for Lily because she's used to being like having kind of a clear right answer. And so she's figuring out how to navigate that. For sure. Yeah.
Now, how does that affect her world view? Like how she relates to the world of Ein itself?
I mean, I think it's, I don't want to say it like
not so
darkens the
rosy.
worldview,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit like, oh, okay, well, the strategies I've applied my whole life don't work now. So
Yeah.
this world, I don't know. Yeah,
That's
I think she's
funny.
a little bit in her head about it.
Yeah. That's funny because Civ's the exact opposite. He's going back to his old strategies because the new strategies aren't working. So might as well go back to what works. Yeah, I struggle every single game not letting Civ go to the dark side. I really, really want to go there, and I don't, because
it feels very close.
Yeah, it is, frankly. But I don't, because there's always a moment in every episode where somebody says something or somebody does something in character that kind of brings me back from that brink. But yeah, I think his worldview is, even if you can believe it, more pessimistic than what it was in the beginning. I really wanted Civ in the beginning to have this, redemption story where he was this terrible guy, but he wants to be a good person now. And he tried that, and it didn't quite work the way that he expected it to. And so now he's like, well, if that's not going to work, then I'm just going to go back to doing what I do best, which is killing people that get in my way. Mm-hmm. And I think Turles is actually, unfortunately, confirming a lot of his worldview on aristocracy and the people that are in charge.
Right.
And the fact that everyone in Shantytown, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the latest episode, everyone in Shantytown has essentially been sacrificed to the demons because they weren't allowed back into the city, really makes Civ angry.
Yeah.
Like, really wanting revenge.
I feel like everybody's kind of in a dark moment right now. I don't know.
I feel like even though James is turning into a demon slowly and he's, he's battling that, he's trying to figure out what to do. I kind of feel like he's come to peace a little bit with that and is trying to do the most good that he can do in his current form before that is over with. So even though it's dark, I don't know if I would say that he's pessimistic.
Interesting. I feel like he's given up on himself.
Yes.
Like he's very ready to sacrifice himself in a way that I feel I feel like that's kind of dark.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we have a lot of people in our group that are all about sacrificing themselves. I think Civ is the most conservative when it comes to, not
whatever. You've said you would sacrifice yourself multiple times.
Next question. That's a wrong
Just because
question.
we wear matching shirts does not mean we agree on everything.
This is true. We probably will disagree frequently. Yeah, there are a lot of tabaxi in Shantytown. Thank you, Redlands 22. Thank you.
Really is the new team tank? Oh god.
We don't have a tank. We just don't. The tank's gone. We're gonna we will have to reassess how we work as a party in combat in general, because we just do not have a tank, period. And that's okay. I've run D&D games where there wasn't a tank and it still worked. So I'm not too worried about that. And yeah, there is Arm of Agathis, and there, Fahima can always summon elementals, and those kind of create a little bit of a buffer. And I'm sure
we're gonna have to kind
some...
of become like kids all in a trench coat kind of a tank. Like we're gonna have to stack our abilities to become the tank. I think we can do it. I think we're just gonna have to strategize. Like
Power Rangers, we form together into
I was gonna say Transformers, but they just transform into one cool thing.
Yeah. Well, there are some Transformers, I think, that can join up together.
Yeah, we all become a Transformer together and then become a tank. That's how I see our party right now. We don't have one tank and then everyone working around it.
Yeah, agreed.
Voltron is what I'm looking for. Okay.
Voltron, yes, Voltron.
Okay. Thank you.
For sure. I'm gonna skip the Ugo questions because I think Ron needs to answer those more than
someone
we
said
do.
I need to do impression of Ugo, but I don't think I can. Lily, can I talk to you for a second? Is it good?
That's good. It's good. I like it. Red Robin, Jared, does Civ still write poetry? Yes. Or even think about his poetry since Olsvach? Yes. He seems like he has become very pragmatic since the events there and not as interested in developing his creative side anymore. So, yeah. So, Civ still writes poetry. It's just he doesn't want to share it with anybody. And I think he's a little scared that if people really knew what was going on with him on the inside, mentally, there would be a lot more of those conversations that Civ doesn't like having. So yeah, he still writes because that's his outlet, but other than drinking. But yeah, he's probably not going to read a lot of that poetry out loud to people, unless the moment just totally calls for it. Also from Red Robin, Civ was obviously not happy about Ugo's sacrifice. This is true. How did Civ view what Ugo did? So I've thought about this a lot. I'm in my blue period. Yes, Robin. I'm definitely in my blue period. Here's what I've thought about when it comes to Ugo's sacrifice. The reason why Civ was not wanting it to happen is not because he doesn't understand why Ugo would do that. Not because he doesn't understand the need or the call for it for the Orcs of Thorn. The true reason why Civ is upset is because he sees his friend sacrificing a huge part of himself for this cause and doesn't think that it's necessary, that there's got to be a better option. And having seen so many of his friends, frankly, sacrifice themselves or die for various causes, and Civ is the survivor, he doesn't want to see another one of his friends die. He doesn't want to see anybody in the group die, but especially Ugo, because Ugo has frequently thrown himself into harm's way for us, for all of us. And there's even been times where Civ has tried to talk him out of that tactic, and he just doesn't listen. That's just not who he is. And so
I just want to pause everything. You just got a really nice compliment from Fail Waffle in the chat, and it feels like...
Shout out to Jared and his amazing storytelling. A lot of us love how you keep it real and true to his character. Yeah, I mean, I tried to stay in character as much as possible during that moment. I realized that there is a tiny bit of metagaming because how do I know that Ugo is sacrificing those levels? But he was also screaming out in pain. I also know Ugo, having been around him now for, in real life, years, but in game time, months. I know who he is. I understand his thought process. And I thought it was weird that we were going out to the tree in the first place because it seems kind of dangerous to take all the orcs outside of Thorn into a place that's filled with demons. But I understood the significance of it. And then I saw, believe it or not, I saw a moment in Ron's eyes where I knew he was going to do something that was dangerous and risky. And Jeff went there quickly, and before anybody could really do anything or say anything, it was already happening. And when I saw that moment in his eyes, Jared, didn't want to stop it because it's such great storytelling, but Civ would never just let somebody sacrifice such a huge part of themselves. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's James. I don't care if it's Lily or Fahima. If he sees someone about ready to throw themselves, on the spike or the fire, he's going to try to stop it if he can. That's just who he is. Especially if it's somebody that he cares about, which he doesn't care about very many people. He tries not to care. He doesn't want to care, frankly. Yeah, I hope that answers that question as firmly as I can answer it.
My takeaway is you try not to care about people.
Sure. But he ends up caring. Well, and that's something he has to struggle with.
This next question was kind of for Uggo and you from David Gen Pro, but I think you can answer the Civ part of this, which is Uggo is squishy now, level 4, amongst level 10 characters, and was in death saving throws in his first non-barbarian battle, where he attempted to stay protected with James, the tank Quillis, taking over his old role, and the SSS demon fight. Civ appeared to still keep to the periphery as in the past. How do you think the group, especially Civ and Uggo, are likely to adapt their battle strategies and plans going forward with a squishy Uggo? So we kind of talked about this a little bit with our Transformer analogy, but is there anything specific for you?
Yeah, I didn't keep Civ's tactics. I did go in. I actually used myself at the end of that fight. I used myself as bait. I wanted the demons to come after me so that everybody else could escape, because I honestly thought Fahima was going to get dropped. And if Fahima got dropped, then it wasn't going to take much time before Uggo got dropped. And then we're dealing with 2 characters going into death saves.
Right.
So not only is that a Civ thought process, but that's also a Jarred battle game mechanics thought process, because Civ strategizes when he's on the battlefield. What is the most accurate way I can go in and take someone out? How can I snipe somebody? And then when he noticed that his teammates were on the verge of getting dropped or getting dropped, then he realized, well, I'm actually in the best shape out of everyone, so I'm going to intentionally move to the center of the arena, call out the demons, shoot one of them, not do very much damage, because I can't if I'm out in the open like that. And easily noticed, and use myself as bait. Frankly.
I wonder if it's going to make us a little more crafty in our initial approach to fights too, not just putting ourselves out there and saying, hey, come get me.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some new battle strategies. I foresee us having a conversation with Fahima about rushing directly into combat, because she's so
and
powerful.
James, I feel like.
Yeah.
Even with his armor Vegathus.
Right.
They're both very quick to go, come get me.
Yeah. Which, oops, as I kick my mic, which, can be frustrating for Civ, because I'm all about baiting people and getting them to come to us and damaging them along the way, and then taking out the weakest of their group. And Fahima and James like to go in and, guns blasting and hit him as hard as they possibly can right from the get-go, which is also a valid strategy when you have a tank. When you don't have a tank to back you up, all of a sudden you overexpose yourself when you go in guns blazing and you don't have backup. There is no backup.
There's also things I think Lily has to have this conversation, because I have a lot of spells that are useful, but only if people aren't in the area of effect.
Sure.
I can't do Phantasmal Force if people are all up on them,
because that affects the player characters.
Well, there's one of them, maybe Phantasmal Force I can select. I have to actually look, honestly. One of them I can select people to be immune to it, but there's a couple that I can't. Or Shatter, I can be a little crafty with how I place it, but ideally I'm dropping it in the middle of
battlefield control spells. Yeah, for sure. So what about you, Lily? What is your thought process on the last battle and how we're going to have to change our strategy? Or do you have any thoughts as far as what you want to do different in the next battle?
Well, I definitely tried to help Uggo twice and he resisted both times, so I won't do that as much.
I keep forgetting whenever you do Bardic Inspiration on me, and I kick myself afterwards because I was like, oh, I could have used that. So next time I'm just going to sticky note something and put it to my forehead so I remember. Yeah.
It's easy to forget, but they're a D10 now, so they're really useful.
I know, that's huge. Huge.
I honestly, there's been battles where I'm like, I can't believe I forgot to use this, and I'm terrible. This is a note to myself. I'm outing myself to the fans, but I'm terrible at calling out cutting words before Jeff says the damage.
Yeah.
For things, because that also reducing something by a D10 is really nice.
Do you have to do it before he calls out the damage?
You could, the rules are, it's like you can use it after you know it hits, I think, but it has to be before the damage is rolled.
I see.
And really what I need to do is like ready it and let Jeff know, like, I'm gonna cutting words any damage that goes to Uggo, I think is the strategy for me, because what happens is it all happens really fast, and then I feel like I can't like get it in there. So, I
like the idea of you preemptively saying that to Jeff. I think that's smart.
I think that's the strategy.
Yeah, and I think that's fair too.
Slow things down. Yeah,
I think that's fair too, because Jeff goes really fast. Yeah, he tries to go fast to keep the pace up.
Right, because that's like the at a home game, I think it would be very different for me to be like, oh, actually, before you like slow things down, but just because of the pace of our fights. So I think that is something I need to remember to strategize with Uggo being a little more squishy right now, is to be very mindful of like have a cutting words eye on him all the time, because you know, that could help.
Yeah, I mean, that could help any of us, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think strategy wise though, Lily has a little bit more combat stuff now because she has her crossbow, and I have yet to use my Song of Rage, but that's a melee spell. I'm very excited.
I'm sure people are going to love seeing you go rage and lose lose it. Yeah. All right, David Pro. If the Turles City Guard saw them doing magic / not convinced by the seeming spell, etc., in their weakened post-demon battle state, do you think they are likely to let the City Guard take them all into custody? No. Or will Civ and/or the wanted men, James and Uggo, try to escape? ? If they end up in jail, at least we might get to see some more Jorl. We're planning on saving Jorl, so you're gonna get to see more Jorl, unless Jeff kills him, which would just be like the harshest thing he's done as a dungeon master.
I'm just hoping the party lets Lily do the talking.
Sure. Yeah.
In this next moment with the city. Yeah.
You're really good at talking to NPCs. I think there are even moments where I've intentionally passed the ball to Lily and said, hey, why don't you go talk to these people? That's, you know, you're the bard. That's what you're good at. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I definitely think we are going to try to talk our way out of this first. If for whatever reason that goes horribly, Civ is not going to jail. He's not going to let that happen. Yeah. So that could go south. We might have another fight. Good to know. But we'll see. We'll see. I
do think it's a funny idea to get put in jail so we can get out and get Jorl.
I thought about that, but I personally hate this woman that's in charge so much right now that it would be really hard for me not to immediately try to kill her as soon as we are introduced to her. So I think it might be better for the Jared and Katie are already in costume for a Prison Break episode. Yeah, you're right, Doug in Texas.
We're foreshadowing with
our prison uniforms. Everybody's going to be wearing these on the next show.
Fail Waffle, thank you. Being honest isn't outing yourself. We're very excited to see you continue to help strategize and use your stuff. Thanks. I have a lot of stuff now, actually. Another thing, speaking of strategizing, that I just remembered that I really need to make sure I'm using is my Song of Rest. Not Song of Rest. Yeah, I have a feat that basically gives us all 10 temp.
Yes, the temporary hit points, the leadership feat.
Yeah, leadership. Thank you. I was like, I can't.
I have this thing that I really need to remember to use, and
what is it?
It's called it gives you does hit points.
I just need to do that every single time because it's between long rests. I just need to Lily needs to say something after every long rest. Yeah. Strategy wise,
no matter where we're going, pep talk.
We're gonna have a talk. Yeah. Be short.
Yeah.
Little. I believe in you.
Go team go.
Go team go.
Thomas Carlton. Yes. Oh, that's Ferrant. Sorry, I gotta skip that. Seth Leopard, Overheard and Turles, Heroes of Bingle. Who are they? Nah, those were just the heroes that jingle. Totally different people. Definitely not wanted for crimes.
Yeah, we're in a band.
that's the name of our band, Heroes That Jingle. Mm-hmm. We do need a band name at some point. Mm-hmm. Okay, Aaron J. Sussman. It seems like Civ's mindset has become pretty dark recently. True. Darker than normal. Also true. How much of that has to do with the recent visit to Ulsvotch? A lot. Is Lily's positive influence wearing off? I don't know.
Maybe.
What does this mean for their romance? Not a lot of time for romance right now. And does this mean I can ship Lily and Uggo again? Paladins are pretty upstanding fellows, I hear. I am going to let you answer this question, Katie.
Well, I don't honestly. Jeff and I talked about this last time. Lily is a little bit stuck with Civ right now.
Why?
Because Civ doesn't seem very. To be fair, we haven't had a lot of time to like just sit down and like chat. It's been pretty nonstop.
There hasn't been any time.
No, but
at
Civ
all.
seems very resistant to people in general.
Yeah, I think he's resistant to confrontation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he seems resistant to what's the word? Lily's normal cheerfulness doesn't seem to affect him the same way right now.
Yeah, he's pretty upset about a lot of stuff, so it's hard to like put on a happy face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
But I think Lily's experiencing that with everybody, where it's like everyone's kind of going through a moment a little bit in one way or the other. And
except for Lily, I think everyone's going through a moment.
Lily's also having a moment too. Yeah, I think Lily's kind of in her head, honestly. I think she's like, oh, everyone's in a moment. These normal strategies aren't working.
Yeah.
And Lily's instinct is to think it's Lily's fault, kind of like, well, maybe I'm not being helpful anymore, or maybe I need to stay out of it, or maybe I need to. She's having a moment of. I guess I think of it like this. Katie thinks of it like this strategy-wise is we've been adventuring now for what, a couple months, a handful of months?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously feels a lot longer than that.
It feels like forever, but it's, I think like we came in, we had a dynamic, things got tricky, we've had some like fights, but then we've come back together, but now we're in this real, like everybody's kind of at a change moment.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a big transition. Everyone's transitioning.
So she's trying to like help with people's emotions and like be there for people. But I think Lily is also going through a transition. And I don't know if she really realizes that so much. Does that make sense? Like, I think
totally.
She feels it, but I don't think she's really fully had like the self-aware moment of like, whoa, Lily, like you need to take care of yourself also.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that moment coming. I see that moment of like, lots of people going through their own inner turmoil and what have you, and you know, whether they choose to communicate that or not it remains to be seen. But I see that eventually getting to Lily, and I see Lily also needing some time for herself. Mm-hmm. And I think before it seemed like we were always around someone that Lily knew, like a family member or someone, or just an NPC that was friendly. And so that was always an outlet for her. And now that's not necessarily the case. We're in Turles, which is more James territory. So it'll be interesting to see what effect the transition of each of these characters does to Lily, since Lily is the glue and we're all connected to Lily. If all of us are changing, that kind of pulls Lily in different directions at the same time.
Yeah.
That's how I see it anyways.
Yeah, and I think Lily also feels kind of responsible to keep her act together all the time. Right. Which is unsustainable for anyone.
Of course. Yeah, you can't be happy all the time.
It's just like, that would be unrealistic for me to pretend that Lily never has any kind of emotion other than like...
I mean, before it was like, Bingle is destroyed and you were just, your family's dead.
Yeah.
So there was obvious moments for Lily to go dark, and now that's not necessarily the case. So what's going to trigger Lily this time?
Those were kind of like also external factors, right? And now it's like Lily dealing with all of it coming. Like, how do I deal in this moment? Like before it was very clear, like my family's in danger, I will go fight.
Yeah.
My family's been hurt by this person, I'm mad at this person. But now it's like all of these things. And Lily has to come up with, like, if I want to be an adventurer, Lily's got to come up with a strategy for how she manages herself, you know?
And I think Civ's biggest concern when it comes to Lily is that she's not going to run if we get dropped. And that's a big concern of mine.
What do you mean? Not going to run if we get dropped?
If Fahima gets dropped, if Uggo gets dropped, Civ is going to want you to run. And he doesn't think right now that you're going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another concern.
We don't have a party that runs very well.
No. Even when I'm like literally begging people to do it, and then Jeff is like, "Well, you guys almost got him beat." Yeah. Which is great. I mean, that's his job as a dungeon master, is to kind of, challenge us, which he has, especially recently, and then give us that, hook. So it's hard to walk away.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there going, why am I protecting this city? They're not even protecting.
Idol said those stubby little legs aren't made for running. Thank you.
You have spells. You have things that you can do.
I have Dimension
that would
Door
make it
that I can
very
use.
easy for you to.
I have definitely been noticing I need to always have one 5th level spell slot.
Sure.
4th level. I think Dimension Door is 4th level. That I have as an escape.
Or greater invisibility. Greater invisibility would be a great way to escape too. Yeah. For sure.
But I think both of those are level 4.
Oh, are they? So you don't have any low level help me get out of here spells?
I think I have to look at my character sheet now. I don't remember. I think they're both level 4. But I mean, it's easy enough for me to keep a spell slot most of the time, unless we're in like a...
Yeah. Doug in Texas, has there ever been a party that knows when to run away? I think a lot of player characters and a lot of players never run away. And I think that's a mistake because, in my opinion, because Dungeons and Dragons, there are monsters, there are challenges that you can face where if you just happen to roll poorly, let's say you're dealing with a ghost and you roll your saving throw and it's below a 10 or 10 below the save or whatever, and you get aged permanently, and that dramatically affects your character or kills your character, and that completely changes the battle and sways it into the opponent's to where the opponents are winning. I think you have to be able to run away. I think it's a necessary part of the game. And if you never ever flee, if you never ever run, then you're going to turn one character death into a TPK. And that's a mistake.
I also think we're going to get in more situations now where we need to run or hide.
We don't have an Uggo. We don't have an Uggo.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how weak Uggo is right now. Even as a 4th level paladin, I don't think they realize how weak he is, especially compared to what he used to be.
I think this is a team conversation we have to have of like, hey, how do we we need to have the fight strategy.
We ran from the Ashen Mage.
Exit.
We ran from the Ashen Mage, and that was hard. People didn't want to run. People didn't want to give up. And I get that, but
I think as a party we have a lot of pride.
But she is a ridiculously powerful wizard, and
ridiculously
powerful wizards do this, and you die. Period. End of story.
We would have been dead, or we would have been kept alive as her little puppets if she had something that she wanted from us, which it may be.
Hey, Ron, I hope you're feeling better, man. Let's do another question. Guy Mura, I was expecting the city guards to be defending the wall before the group arrived. How would you see this past battle without the use of magic? Well, frankly, I don't think we would been able to beat the demons without magic, because over half of our group are hardcore spellcasters. So I don't think we would have been able to win without magic. And I think Jeff knows that. He knows that we're going to have to cast spells to be able to beat these demons. And it's a good thing we did. But then dealing with the repercussions of that, casting spells, even as these music students that we seemingly are, I think he knows that we're going to have to deal with the guards now. But we also saved their city. So if that's not enough leverage for us to kind of talk our way past casting a few spells, then I don't know what's going to be.
We also look like scrappy little teenagers.
Yeah. We look like Scooby-Doo.
We just got in the wrong place of the city. We were dumb. Kids. And
Oops. It was us or them. Wordsmith, what does Civ think about the 200 gold bounty? Not enough. Does he have a plan on how they are going to get Jorl out of jail? Yes, of course I do. I have several plans on how to get Jorl out of jail, but I think I need to let the talkers, and Siv's a pretty good talker too, but let the talkers, James and Lily, talk to people first. And then if that doesn't work, then we use one of Siv's plans.
I think the first step is to figure out what the jail situation is.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he might not even be
guard?
that well guarded right now because of what's happening in the city.
Does he have a ransom? Does he like, or a bail? Like, not ransom. Like, what's the whole, like, I don't know how the jail works in Turles. And I feel like a jail in Turles versus a jail in like Thorn are going to be very different.
Yeah.
So that's a big...
Well, there is no jail in Thorn, remember? They just killed them. Or shot their hands off. Yeah.
I did see Gamershare in chat had a question for me. We see Lily call upon her Grammy from time to time, even if not as often as Uggo calls upon his ancestors, RIP. Are there other ancestors that Lily calls upon, or at least speaks to in private meditation while she's so far from home? I really think it's mainly Grammy that Lily has spoken to. And then, I mean, maybe sometimes she talks to her family, but Grammy is really Lily's North Star. Like, she's the person who she always would go to for guidance and help. So it's just Grammy.
She's awesome. Your family's awesome, by the way. They are the most helpful NPCs we have encountered, including most of the natural order. Because natural order actually has a lot of power and they could be helping us more. And I feel like your family doesn't have a lot of power and they still did a lot for us.
We owe them ascending, I think, also to like check in and make sure they're okay.
Yeah. James is turning himself into a cell phone.
He's just a call center now.
Yeah. It'd be funny if we all line up and we all have to like use James to make our calls to talk to our various people. Oh, I forgot I got to make a phone call to this person.
We're just like, hurry up, Siv. I got to call my mom.
Wordsmith, how has Uggo and Lily's relationship changed with Uggo now being level 3, technically level 4, and Lily protecting him?
Well, as I said, I tried and Uggo ran away. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a gentler approach. I don't think Uggo's necessarily ready mentally to be just protected.
Yeah, that's not his style.
That's not Uggo's style. And just because he lost Barbarian and he lost his rage doesn't mean he lost his personality.
Yeah, and he's still sacrificing himself. I mean, when I did that sneak attack and I critted, he still took like 15 points of damage to give James 30 something points of temporary points. Yeah.
So I think it's going to have to be a gentler approach than what Lily had initially thought. Yeah. So still in process. Honestly, I don't know the full answer to that. I think Lily's feeling it out. Yeah. Because what Lily's also in part of this transition that we're talking about of our worldviews and stuff is like feeling the tensions of everyone, which is mainly, I think, everybody's internal tensions are at a higher place right now. So how to deal with everyone is a little more fragile.
Yeah. I definitely think we've entered into chapter 2 of the story. So imagine if this is like a 3-chapter thing. If we're in chapter 2, this is the the dark times, the transition times, the figuring out who we
this
really
is the coming
are.
Of age, the messy part of the coming of age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do have some questions on Discord as well. Although if there's anybody in chat that wants
Gamer says, don't be surprised if Jorl comes out of prison jacked with "Life is Pain" tatted across.
I would love that. I would immediately recruit him to our party. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would love that. Okay, so let's answer some Discord questions.
Okay.
AGM or AG McLeod, pretty open-ended, but how do you both feel about the current relationship of Lily and Siv? Well, we've talked about that a lot already.
It's complicated.
It's definitely in the it's complicated category. I don't know. I think the thing with Lily and Siv that drives me nuts, both as a player and as Siv, is that we just don't ever get any time with each other. Right. It's always everyone else is there, or we're in the middle of a fight, or we're in the middle of dealing with some crazy stuff or NPCs. There's never that moment alone. And so it's hard for me to even answer that question because I don't know what our relationship is like because we don't get any time alone at all.
Right. And it feels like also right now, anytime we would have a loan, like it's the wrong time to have a loan. Like everything is so.
Meanwhile, James is turning into a demon. Fahim's doing
like
blood magic, and Uggo is like
so
tormented. Why don't we go kissy in the other room? Yeah, that's just weird. Yeah, that's super weird.
You don't want to make out with your friends turning into a demon?
I mean, yeah, but Civ might not, be into that.
But Jared does. Okay. Insight into Jared's life.
Yeah. Crafton Crunch. Number 1, we all know the heist track record of the Heroes of Bengal. Ouch. What would you guys do differently going into attempting to get into Whitebeard's vault? Well, first off, I think we can talk our way in because we can still make ourselves look like how we looked like before when we were with Whitebeard's crew and just say, we're here for the treasure. If that doesn't work, I have other ideas. As far as a heist is concerned, I don't think Civ wants to do any heists with this group of friends ever again, ever. And that's not anything to do with them. It's just, that's not how they work. That's not who they are. They're not thieves. They're not rogues. They're not, scoundrels. There are other tactics that we could use though, to still get that treasure that aren't a quote unquote heist. I think if Civ was going to try to pull a heist, he would try to do it by himself. Honestly.
I think Lily would be good at a heist.
I think Lily would be a great heist member in the right situation. Like if you're the talker or the distraction or the person who's talking to the guard while Civ sneaks past. Yes. Okay. But we are, as a group,
Lily and Civ are going to go off. This is going to be our time together. We're going to go off and do a private heist.
There you go.
We're not going to tell the group.
That'll be our romantic thing. Our private heist together. We'll sneak off and
because then we're still accomplishing work
stuff
that needs to happen. So it's not like we're wasting time. We're spending quality time together.
Yeah. I am Robin Nicole. If Jeff did a fantasy episode where Civ and Lily could vacation without any fear of demon/danger, where in Ind would they want to go? What touristy stuff would they do? I want to go to Sinzan. I want to see where since we own that plot of land together, I want to see that. Maybe get some cool body tattoos from the artists in Sinzan. That's where I would go. What about you?
Get tats. I think Lily would want to check out the local brewery and restaurant situation. That's
in Sinzan.
Yeah.
See what our competition is in case we want to open an orphanage/brewery.
A great business. You could do an orphanage/cafe.
Sure. The kids could help us run the cafe. That makes perfect sense. I love it. Yeah. It's like a B&B with orphans.
I don't know what other touristy stuff we would do though. I mean,
yeah,
that's probably it. I don't know. I grew up in a tourist town, so I feel like it'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if, because we have so much excitement in our regular lives. I think our idea of vacation is doing nothing.
Yeah,
it's that when you have a 80-hour work week, what do you want to do on your vacation? Sit there and read a book.
Sit and not feel like you're gonna get attacked at any moment.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Not have to sleep with your dagger.
Yeah.
Good question though. This is a good question. Craft and Crunch Part 2. How long does it take you to quote unquote get in character? Do you have a process or something? I drink beer. That's how I get into character. How about you, Katie?
Whoa, sorry, I was reading chat. One more time.
How do you get into character? How do you get into Lily's?
Character?
Yeah.
I usually go through my songbook before we start the show and kind of look at some songs that I have, and then that helps. Honestly, it's so funny. No matter how much I try and think about songs before the show during the week, I always feel like I get my ideas 20 minutes before the show starts.
Right.
Without
you mean your idea for a song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So usually I'm I go through that and then I'll there's something about that pre-show, and it's not necessarily a song for that episode. It's just something I want to jot down. Yeah. I usually have a drink. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. It really does. It gets you to kind of relax and get out of your own way.
Especially now, I think the balance now with us running the show, that has definitely been more of a thing I have to prioritize of like, because there's just the business side of it is also bopping around in all of our heads.
Yeah.
So like remembering to like, okay, now I'm a performer.
Yeah.
Look at my character sheet, look at my songs,
For
have a
sure.
drink, like chill out.
Sprinkwinkle wants to know any hints at songs we can look forward to.
Well, I'm gonna release one this week on the Patreon.
Ooh.
If you're a Patreon member.
Cast secrets. I dig it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm working on. I have to sing a song when I rage. So.
Like an angry, rage-filled
it's a song of rage. So.
It'd be hilarious if it was, like, you know, like a James Taylor song or something.
Honestly, scarier.
Yeah, totally creepy.
Yeah. We're working on that.
Okay, that gamer share, who's in chat as well. Question, is age even a thing now that Civ and Lily may be closer in age since he was aged forward? I think that was my alternate character in the other timeline got aged. Civ is still the age he was before we did that timeline jump. So age-wise, how old is Lily?
22.
Oh, yeah, I'm 21. So we're close in age. I think the real question is about later on in life when I age faster than Lily does. And
Lily thinks about that.
Yeah. I think that's something that's one of the things that Civ drinks about, essentially. He drinks so that he doesn't have to think about thoughts like that. He doesn't want to think about how you're going to live longer than him. He just doesn't.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot of things that I think Civ avoids.
I think that was a big because Lily and Civ also like kind of like just started dating-ish.
Yeah,
like, we never
if you
really
can even
had,
call
like,
it dating.
We don't even call it dating. I don't like call him my boyfriend. He doesn't call me his girlfriend. Like it's not like that official because I think we're both apprehensive for different reasons. Lily, that is written down multiple times in my book and my notes of like, he will die before me.
For sure.
Unless I die in a combat situation or some other like significantly before me.
Yeah. And that's why I think Civ wants you to run if the fight starts to turn. He wants you to live. So
yeah. Bill Waffle says, you guys have had time together. It definitely feels like you're avoiding combos with each other, but that could just be my take. I don't think you're wrong. I think that we haven't had a lot of time together, but also everyone's tensions, like everyone's shoulders are like this right now in our party.
Yeah,
like there's so much going on, and it's not just Civ and Lily's interpersonal stuff. I think Civ and Lily are both having a hard time in their own ways. And then you add into this relationship that's not super defined. I think there is definitely like, oh, this isn't the right time.
Yeah. It's very hard to have romance when tensions are constantly at such a high level.
Also, when you're not at peace with yourself,
I
think that is also extra hard.
Yeah, I think Civ really thinks of Olswatch as a mistake. And he's kind of beating himself up about that because it was his choice to go there to bury Vic, and he thought that it was a good idea to kind of put that part of his life to rest, and all it did was remind him of who he really is.
Yeah.
So that's hard. Yeah. So what else do we got here?
Did you answer the wordsmith question about what you think about the 200 gold bounty?
Yeah. It wasn't enough.
Oh, okay.
I missed
your one word answer.
if we are legitimately being accused of murdering someone and they honestly think that we killed them, 200 gold is definitely not a high enough bounty. But that's why I think there's some corruption involved. I'm thinking there's a possibility that this lady, I think it's a lady who's in charge of Turles, might be corrupted. Maybe. She might be dirty, and maybe that's just because Civ's mindset is, well, those in power typically are. But it's a little too convenient that he died right after Uggo threatened his life, and then a little too convenient that we were charged with that murder.
Yeah,
I think that's all just,
all too perfect.
Yeah.
Corbin played said exactly. Could that be a signal that they know it's a setup? the 200 gold. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a setup. But the problem is that we don't necessarily do well as a group with those kinds of situations because most of the people in the group inherently want to believe that other people are good. And really only Civ is the only person the majority of the time who thinks everyone is evil.
That's our moment right now, right? Like, I think that is where we're really hitting this like sticking point as a party, because I think we're really coming into these situations where like we're gonna have to make decisions that aren't gonna serve both sides of this thing. And I mean, I think it was interesting because we talked about this last week a little bit, but like Lily and Civ were on the same page with what to do with dip feed.
Yeah.
And Jeff thought that was interesting that Lily didn't want her to go, but Lily doesn't. The Ashen Mage is responsible for killing so many of Lily's friends.
Yeah.
Like, my family lived in Bingle, but a lot of people died.
Yeah.
Bingle's dead. Not like
Vic's dead because of her. Yeah.
Bingle's not a happy ending.
Yeah.
Like, my parents were alive and my grandma was okay, so that's happy, but it's not a happy ending what happened there. It was a massacre.
Jeff even said at one moment that he wished he would have killed one of your sisters because he really wanted to drive home the point that things were bad in Bingle. But I think there was so much animosity at Jeff at that moment from the audience when he just ripped Bingle apart and we hadn't even been there yet.
Yeah.
That he wasn't quite used to that immediate visceral reaction that the audience gives.
I still think of Bingle as like a total devastating loss.
Yeah, it's like a hurricane hit it.
Yeah.
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 Totally.
Hurricane that was caused by a person.
Exactly.
In Lily's mind, it was the Ashen Mage is responsible for that.
I mean, the Ashen Mage is responsible for so many things.
Yeah. So to me, giving anyone to her, whether they want to go or not, it feels like a betrayal of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Fanboy of Bolas, is this the D&D discussion? Yes, we're talking about a show that you need to watch called The Dungeon Run. It's on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on Twitch on this channel. All of our old episodes are on YouTube. So
and Jared and I don't normally match.
Yeah.
That's just a today thing.
I like how that's the important part of what we're
That's
trying
what
to
I want to
get
add to this conversation.
All right, we're almost out of time.
I just imagine if you're popping in, it looks like we very much planned this.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. There's a song about or question about the Song of Rage. Yes, she's looking for it.
I just popped in and thought it was about some obscure historical massacre. I mean, historical in our D&D game. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a massacre in our D&D game, so you're not wrong.
We've had a few.
A wedding in the city where you wanted, what could possibly go wrong? Oh, shoot, I could agree with it. Has Civ completely given up poetry? No, we answered that. He's a little preoccupied with the Ugga situation. Here's something. Okay, I think we answered all the questions.
Jeff just sent me a text message that said matching shirts for every episode of the Cooldown or I walk.
This was completely by mistake, by the way. It's just Katie and I are so in sync with each other that, donuts and matching shirts.
That's it. Donuts and matching shirts. That's our brand. Rated at birth. Oh no, this becomes very concerning if we're actually related.
In the future, all of us hopeless romantics hope happens tomorrow, but may never come. Wink. Where would Civ and Lily get married? B-side wedding? That's a good question.
Category 5, Calcutta, Cipher Logic. Great.
Yeah. Ashen Mage is a horrible person. I don't. Okay, here's my thoughts on the dip feed thing. And this will be the last thing I say, and then Katie, you can wrap it up. I don't understand why, as a group, we put any sort of trust or acceptance on the Ashen Mage in any way, shape, or form. She has been the only through line through this entire story that has consistently proved time and time again that she is evil. Whitebeard had less evil in him than the Ashen Mage. And so did all the other people that we fought. Even Vargan was converted or twisted by her. So the people that we fought up until this point or dealt with up until this point that have been bad or evil or that we've destroyed, the Ashen Mage has been behind it or has been an accessory to it. Go ahead and clip that. Go ahead and clip that. Because the problem that I have with giving dip feed over to the Ashen Mage, and the reason why it was hard for me not to lose my cool, and I did, I more or less said, all right, I'm out, I'm not going to watch this, is because we've already sacrificed too much to her. And to give her anything at all, especially a person that we worked so hard to save, seems wrong on so many levels. On so many levels, I can't even, I don't even know where to start. And there has never been an episode where I haven't thought to myself, I wonder if there was some way I could have killed her when we came across her in the house. Even if it meant that I was going to go out trying, I just wonder, because she's a mage and mages can be squishy, I wonder if there isn't some way that I could have taken her out. And that actually haunts Civ, is that he had a shot and he didn't take it because he wanted to make sure that everybody got out, and including himself. But the Ashen Mage is, do not be fooled by Jeff. He's a very good storyteller. He's very charismatic. Do not be fooled and think for a second that there is a redeemable quality in the Ashen Mage, even if she's a fallen sky child. I don't care. I don't care.
Well, I think that's one of our biggest weaknesses in our party, right? Is our pride in trying to make people see the best in everyone.
And that's gone from Civ. He doesn't see the best in anyone anymore.
I think Lily still sees the best in everyone, but she's learning that some people, giving them that benefit of the doubt is lethal to more people.
Yeah.
So it's not actually kind to give someone the benefit of the doubt if it's going to kill other people. What's the good in that?
Yeah.
If you give this person a free pass because they had a rough time with this thing and they're taking it out and they're having a tantrum, but the tantrum is going to kill everybody. You have to punish the tantrum. You can't sacrifice the people who are unable to do anything about it. That to me,
you have to stop.
That to Lily is what she's recognizing right now, is there's not maybe always a way where everybody wins.
Yeah, for sure.
And that sucks, because I don't like that. Lily does not like that. He doesn't like that. And I still don't think Lily's still not fight fire with fire. That's not her situation, but it's being more strategic about the stakes are higher than us trying to see the best in everyone.
Yeah. It would be different if it was, let's say, I don't know, a city official or somebody who maybe had their heart in the right place, but then decided to do the moratorium of magic, and then maybe they took it too far and people got hurt. That I can kind of see, giving someone a moment to talk or to chat or to give them a moment to say why they did what they said before you just attack them. But the Ashen Mage is so far beyond that, and so many innocent people have died because of her. I just don't care about her story anymore. I don't care about her. I just want her to die, personally.
Yeah. Is that why Lily voted to kill Braca? She seems so defeated. I don't know if Lily voted to kill Braca necessarily, but she definitely wasn't as against it as she normally would have been. Yeah, I think Lily's stuck in these positions where she doesn't want to kill anybody and she wants to forgive people, but then she also feels guilty for giving too much and then dishonoring all of the people that died from a person or were hurt or displaced or whatever. That I think is what Lily's running into more and more, and I don't think she's not at peace with her decision. She hasn't, but she definitely, I think Lily is more defeated than she normally is right now. I think she's not in the best place. I don't know. I saw this. I just think it's very funny. Where is it? Someone said new tagline. Oh, Kaz and Friend said new tagline for Jeff. Instead of humankind be both, it's I wish I had killed one of Lily's sisters.
Oh,
that's how we end. How we end all the episodes.
Let me say this.
The party seems wounded at the moment. I think the party is wounded at the moment.
Yeah, we are.
In many
for
ways.
sure.
I think we're like Jared said, we're in our moody teen years.
Yeah. I will say this. there are things that Civ has done that have, and he said that he has regretted mistakes that he's made, and the group forgave him and still accepted him. And so that's why I still think it's in character for Civ to let the dip feed thing happen, because everyone has a right to, we're a group and we voted, and everyone has a right to, decide what they think is right. I can hear my son is home. So on that note,
I think we still believe in redemption. I know Lily still believes in redemption and forgiveness, but it is right now, everyone's struggling with what that line is, right? Because there has to be at some point, if someone is continuously hurting people and being evil, there has to be a solution to that. You can't just forgive and forgive and forgive and forgive and forgive and not do anything. So
and I think we're going to learn that lesson. I think we're going to learn that lesson the hard way, and it'll be very interesting to see how it changes people. It'll be very interesting to see how James and Fahima and Ugo change based off of how these NPCs truly react to what they've given them.
Emos of Bengal, that's what we are. I see that in chat. That's very funny. Waffle, thank you for your nice compliments today. Thank you both for being wonderful. Katie, you're so kind and wonderful. Jared, your passion and take is refreshing. This is one of the best cooldowns. Jared, we should match more often.
I know. It's that in-sync matchy that puts us on the same wavelength. And then watch on Wednesday. We're gonna
match again.
And just completely argue the entire time.
Probably. No. This is a good moment. Civ and Lily are both going through the same thing. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
In ways, or different, but same.
Yeah.
Best matching cooldown. That's the caveat. Thanks for playing this. This is the best matching cooldown we've ever had. For sure. Top 10 matching cooldowns. This is it.
Yeah.
All right. On brand, Jared and I have gone over time.
I know, we always do this.
And still could talk for so much more.
Yeah.
But we're gonna let everybody go about their Monday. We will see you on Wednesday for a brand new. Oh wait, yeah, maybe. And we might have an announcement about Wednesday, so stay tuned. I'm not announcing anything yet, but we have an announcement about Wednesday. Stay tuned on that. Keep an eye on our socials for that. That's what I'm trying to say. Really eloquently trying to say.
This is going great.
Yeah, it's going really great. Our matching really kind of wore off in this moment, and then I forgot how to talk. Keep an eye on our socials for Wednesday. We will be back next week with another cooldown. I don't know who it'll be, but we will announce it. And
hopefully Ron. We need to get Ron on a cooldown.
We definitely want to get Ron in. He was sad he couldn't be here today. He will be here soon, we promise. We know you have so many Ugo questions, because talk about transitions.
Yeah.
I guess, Doug in Texas, I just announced an upcoming announcement. Thank you for definitely more eloquently stating what just happened.
Soon, another announcement.
We will make an announcement. Thank you everyone for being here today, for spending your Mondays with us. We love you so much. Jared, it's always a treat.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for hosting me yesterday with your lovely brunch. It was nice to see people in person. We are in talks. Jeff is in Denver now. We are in talks as far as figuring out a way to at least do a cool down where we're gathered together in the same room. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to work on doing more of those kinds of things now that everybody's vaccinated and what have you. We'll keep you posted about Wednesday. Make sure to follow us on all of our socials. Join the Discord, the unofficial official Discord.
And if you're a patron, I'll see you later this week, because I'm going to release a cast secret. So.
Ooh, I love it.
Jared, even you can watch it.
Thank you.
All right, until next time, I wish I would have killed one of Lily's sisters.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.